Hi everyone, Elliot here. Part of TG-ENBY's mission is to bring holistic wellness to our community, and that means more than just fitness. That means wellness of our minds, of our hearts, and other components of our body besides just things involving exercise. So I am really excited to bring you this video made by my friend Cristy and Michelle. They are a registered nurse, a certified personal trainer. They also offer training services at Everybody when it's back open again. You can find Cristy on the internet at silverlaketrainer.net and see some of their other projects and services that they offer. Today, they're coming to you from Canada. They're stuck on this remote island in Canada right now until some of this mess clears up. But they're going to give you some information about vital signs and why they're important and how to measure them and how to track them if you find yourself feeling sick and how to communicate with your doctor about them. So like Cristy says in this video, please make sure that you understand the protocol in your area right now in regards to communicating about how you're sick and whether it's okay for you to physically go in someplace. But Cristy's got some great information. I'm going to let them take it from here. Please enjoy. Subscribe to our channel to stay up to date and to get us up over that mark so I can bring you some other really exciting things. So thank you once again. Check us out at TG-ENBY.com, and I can't wait to bring y'all some more exciting fitness and wellness content. Take it, Chris.
Hi everyone. I am coming here today as your friend, as your community member, as a fellow queer, and as a registered nurse. And I'm here because we're living in really scary times right now. We're living through a pandemic, and as the next 2 weeks and 2 months unfolds, you might find yourself getting sick and having a lack of access to care, and you are going to feel scared, and that is really appropriate because this is really, really scary. So I'm here to share some information with you. As an RN, I've cared for some very sick patients in acute care facilities and hospitals, and kind of one of the most important things that we can do in caring for anyone and caring for ourselves and to understand what's going on with the body is measuring vital signs. And vital signs are important. They are vital for a reason because they are vital to human life. So I am going to teach you the basics of vital signs. This is just for your information only. I'm not your doctor or provider. I don't know the community protocols in place in your community, which I advise you to find out. Follow up with your physician if you have one to see what those are. I'm just giving you some basic information on vital signs so you can help care for yourself at home and advocate for yourself if you need to within the healthcare system. Okay? What are vital signs? Vital signs are temperature, and a normal temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. Pulse rate. Normal pulse rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute at rest. Oxygen saturation is ideally above 95%. Respiratory rate. You count a respiratory rate by a full inspiration and expiration, so a full breath per minute. Normal respiratory rate is 12 to 20 breaths per minute. To note, almost impossible to count your own respiratory rate. You're aware of your breathing, you'll change your breathing, and if you're a caregiver for someone else, it's best to count their respirations when they don't know you're counting respirations because they're likely to change the way that they breathe. It's just, they can't help it. So count someone's respiration when they're sleeping, when they're on the couch, watching TV or something like that, when they don't know you're counting respirations. Blood pressure. I'm not going to worry about teaching you how to take blood pressure right now. You typically probably know how your blood pressure ranges at this point. If you are hypertensive, you have a problem with high blood pressure, and you take high blood pressure medication, I would just recommend having an extra prescription on hand in case it's difficult to get a refill in the next couple of months. Pain is also a vital sign. Pain is just a subjective measure. You go to the doctor, you go to the nurse, they say, what's your pain level? 0 to 10, 0 no pain, 10 most excruciating pain. Whatever you say, they write down. It's a subjective measure, vital sign. The other ones are objective. So let's talk about those. Temperature. Feeling sick, think you might have a fever, you're going to want to measure your temperature with a thermometer. Okay? Get that thermometer out, measure your temperature. Let's say it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You take some Tylenol, temperature drops. That's great. goes back up, take some Tylenol, temperature drops, that's great. So you just want to keep your temperature low, you want to keep it down. If your temperature starts to get more elevated, if it starts to get to be about 101, 102, but it's still being relieved with Tylenol, that's great. If your temperature gets a little higher, if it goes to about 103 and you're just not feeling good, it's going to be difficult for you to take care of yourself. Hopefully you have a caregiver. You really want it relieved with Tylenol. If it's not relieved with Tylenol, then you want to start some cooling measures right away. And that means cooling down the body. The body's hot, you want to cool it down. So removing any covers, removing any blankets, using ice packs, using cold rags, cold baths, whatever you can do to sort of bring that temperature down. That temperature is 103, you're using cooling measures. It's not coming down. Tylenol is not working. Definitely want to follow up with your doctor. We might need to go to the emergency room. I'm not sure, you're going to have to use your best judgment in how you're feeling. But one of the things that I would do to sort of see what to do or make that decision or make that call is I would measure other vital signs. So if you have one vital sign off, it's not great. But if it's serious, then likely some of your other vital signs are going to be off. And those other vital signs are normal, you're probably doing okay for the moment. So if you have a pulse ox, you can measure both your pulse and your oxygen saturation, right? You know how to do it. Put it on your finger, measures it for you. Right now my oxygen saturation is 98% and my pulse is 80, so that's normal, okay? So if I had a temperature that was 100, Tylenol seemed to be working, my pulse rate was normal, my oxygen saturation was normal, I'm doing okay. I don't really have to worry. This could just be a normal cold. Don't assume it's a normal cold right now. Assume that you have coronavirus. Assume that it has found you, but you're monitoring it, okay? That's great. You got one vital sign slightly off, the other two are normal, you're not short of breath, your respirations are normal, you're doing okay. Just keep taking care of it like you would a cold at home. Also drink lots of fluids. Tea is great. Electrolytes are great. Make sure you get your electrolytes in. Keep taking your vitamins. Let's say you have a vital sign, your temperature is 102, starting to get a little short of breath, you just don't feel that good. It's been lingering for a few days now. Pulse rate's a little high. Maybe it's just 102 and your oxygen saturation is 94. Then everything's slightly off. I would start to monitor it a little bit more closely. Do you need to go to the emergency room? If it's tolerable, not necessarily. I would keep drinking fluids. I would keep trying to get the temperature down. I would just sort of do my own assessment. Can I breathe? Am I taking in breath? Do I feel like I'm getting enough oxygen? If you are, I would just keep monitoring it like a cold at home. I promise you, if you had been taking your vital signs when you had bad cold, strep throat, anything before, you'd have noticed maybe a couple of vital signs slightly off. When one goes, some other ones kind of go a little bit, just a little bit. It's called compensation. Your body's compensating for itself. If you have 102 fever, you're feeling short of breath, your oxygen saturation is 89% and your pulse is 120, now you need to sort of consider getting yourself emergency services. Again, I don't know what your community protocol is. I don't know if you need to call ahead. I don't know if you can just drive yourself to the emergency room. I'm sure your community has some sort of procedure set up for you to follow. And like I suggested before, just kind of know what that is, so you can get the care that you need in the most appropriate amount of time. Yeah, vital signs. Vital for a reason. So I know that this is sort of a crash course, but I think the most important things that I just want to go over with you is temperature, pulse rate, oxygen saturation. Respiratory rate is not really going to go up unless you aren't getting enough oxygen. So you notice you're caregiving for someone, they've reported shortness of breath, you notice them taking too many breaths per minute, you're going to kind of notice that, and they're compensating. Their body's trying to breathe more so they can get more oxygen in. That's happening as well. Pulse rate is likely to be up. Your heart's beating faster. Heart carries oxygen around, so your heart's going to beat faster to try and compensate, and that's what I mean about body compensation, or all of these things sort of intertwining together. So these are the ones that I want you to just sort of practice while you're healthy, sort of get familiar with. Maybe, you can Google some information online too feel free to reach out and ask me any questions. I'll do the best that I can to try and help you as your friend. Again, I'm not your doctor, so reach out to them if you need to, but understand that all your doctors and nurses are going to be really overburdened, and just be patient. They're putting their lives on the line to help you. They're working day and night tirelessly. They have their own families, other concerns as well, and they're also very afraid. So just be kind to them when you need help. And that's almost it. I have one last thing to share with you. So if you've been sick for a day or 5 days or 7 days and you notice it's declining, or you just get scared or worried, one of the things I would suggest doing is sort of writing down your vital signs in an objective way. So if you do need to seek some sort of emergency services, that it's just a helpful reminder for you to be able to report back to the doctor or nurse. And one of the ways that we would do it in nursing would be sort of, we give each other a report, and that report goes in a specific order. So I don't have access to a printer because I am in a remote location in Canada. So I wrote this down, and you probably can't see it, but I'll read it to you as if I were giving a report on myself. Some of this information isn't true, it's just for the purpose of this example, but here it is. I'm going to start with my name. Cristy Michelle, 44-year-old female, chief complaint. The reason why I came into an emergency room today is for shortness of breath. History. This is where you put down your most pertinent history, things that people need to know. History of whatever it is, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, something that's important to your care, okay? Allergies, also very important. You want to put here something like penicillin, nuts, iodine, something that if they gave you in a hospital that would cause an allergic reaction, they need to know, okay, what are your allergies? Maybe cats isn't important here, okay? There's not going to be a cat in the hospital. Pertinent information. They're going to want to know symptom onset. Say it was yesterday morning or 1 week ago, okay? And then vital signs. If you keep a record of vital signs, then you can tell the healthcare provider how you've been declining. So let's say this morning at 9 a.m., temperature was 101, pulse rate 90, oxygen 95%, respiratory rate 16. But at 1, my temperature was 102, unrelieved at Tylenol, pulse rate 110, oxygen saturation 89, respiratory rate 24. Then you're now giving that healthcare professional some information that they might need to help you. In the morning, you were sick, but it didn't seem that concerning, but it progressed into a way that was concerning towards the afternoon, and then they can see that there's a progression here in an objective way. So if I were going to say it really fast, and I'm going to make up my history because I don't actually have a history, but I would say, Cristy Michelle, 44-year-old female, chief complaint, shortness of breath. The symptom onset for that shortness of breath was yesterday morning. History of hypertension, diabetes, allergic to penicillin and nuts. Vital signs are. And then they might ask you, when did everything begin? You can give a longer history. 6 days ago, I had a low-grade fever. I thought it was a cold. I felt something in my throat. I took some Tylenol. It went away. Then I felt fatigued all week. And through the week, I started to get a little bit more malaise. My fever came back. I started to feel a heaviness in my chest and then shortness of breath. You can give them a little bit more history after they sort of take care of whatever emergent situation and stabilize you. Okay, so that's all of the information that I have for you today. I hope you're well. I hope you are staying safe. Social distancing really to me means staying away from everybody at all whatsoever. And it's me being in a remote location in Canada. It means not hanging out, people. It means getting bored, building a puzzle, doing whatever you can, reading a book, going for walks outside. Just assume that you have this virus, or assume that you're going to get it when you leave the house. Hopefully we can return to some sort of normal life soon. But until then, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. Please be kind. Share what you have with other people if they need it. Without touching them, of course, or going near them. But I don't know. I wish I had some words of wisdom, but I don't. So, sending you all kinds of love.